We're going to do a series on the employees, and this is a major issue a lot of doctors have trouble with, and it's really not seen as one of the major issues to growth. However, it is. The very first skill set is the doctor's skill set with patient education and marketing, and that'll take the doctor to a very limited amount. And then once you start having to hire and train employees, especially more than one employee, most doctors can fool around with and see 60, 80 visits a week and not cause, too much trouble. But you have got to have a really good employee structure. You got to have good foundation, good training, good systems in place, because everything is based on the employees. It is not based on the brick and mortar. Your employees are your business, not your building. So everything is about how the employees interact with patients, their attitudes, their responsibilities, their skills. It's just everything. And it is so difficult to find good employees. It is. It's difficult, and that's why when you find them, you do everything you can to keep them. And a lot of doctors haven't been trained in school anything with human resources. So most doctors are familiar that they need to learn, patient education and marketing, but they don't pay really much attention to the human resources part, how to hire, train, and manage employees and put systems in place. And I just tell you, I've found that when you're growing a business, remember there's 5 different levels of growing a business from the time you start a business, 5 different levels until you're not practicing anymore and you have associate doctors running your business and now you're the manager. Okay, so there's 5 different levels to get to that point I've identified, and they all have different problems. But I tell you, I found that right after patient education, it's systems and employees are the problem. The third problem, as far as the big problems, the third one is marketing. And most doctors think marketing is number one. And that's not been what is shown to be true at all. So first, it's getting doctors to be able to keep patients. Well, they can do that on their own. You can do that on your own. You don't need any employees to be able to interact with that patient to increase your skill level to be able to keep them. Okay, so now the business starts coming up. Now these employees become important for processing these patients, what to say and what to do and where to go and all that. And then a lot of doctors don't put the right people in the right place with the right systems, and they have employees running around everywhere. They'll have the front desk person running to the back to take them off therapy, to running back up to the front to answer the phone, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And you can't build a business like that. So the foundation of the business is the employees, and that everybody's on the same page. And it's that's why they say it's the single most difficult thing to do in business is to hire and manage employees. It's very frustrating. It takes effort. It's not easy, but it's way overlooked. Too many people don't even see it as an issue. And a lot of times it's a major issue, whether it's employee turnover, bad employees, bad training, bad systems. All of those things will stop your business from going. And by the way, speaking of somebody who's built a pretty big business, we did $60 million a year, had very stable employees. When I was running at optimal speed, I only had 4 employees, and we were seeing about 300, 350 patient visits a week. My 2 associate doctors were seeing them. And then I was training simultaneously 7 doctors every 6 months. And this was in 1,700 square feet. So I had 1,700 square feet. I'm in the back big room with 7 doctors training them. There's 350 patient visits a week running through my office, 2 associate doctors treating them. I had the front desk person, the back desk person. I had the front desk person, was the processing them in and out. I had an full-time insurance person. I had a full-time therapist, and I personally had a full-time assistant. Those were my four full-time anchors, and you have to have full-time anchors. And then I had a part-time person that helped during the industrial hours, and it was typically a college student, working part-time. Okay, and that was the business, and we did $60 million a year in that model. But I tell you what, those 4 employees were phenomenal. So I had really good people, and then we trained them really well. We took care of them. We had very good systems. Everybody knew exactly what to do. We taught that in very well so that people didn't have to stop and, ask another employee, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when 10 patients are walking in the door at the same time. That person at the front desk didn't have to stop and go to the back and stop the doctor and go, what do I do about this? That was grounds for, major problems come staff meeting, because that's just not acceptable. So anyway, I'm just trying to put emphasis on the employees, the importance of the employees, good employees, training them, taking care of them, knowing how to pick them. And I found doctors they're generally not very good at picking employees. Now, I have a checklist. You follow the checklist, it significantly helps you increase the likelihood of getting good employees. If you just follow the interview formulas and the checklist, it'll significantly, because I already know a lot of the common mistakes. To do that well, I had to make a lot of mistakes. Well, I learned from those mistakes. I learned who not to hire and how not to treat them. So anyway, having said that, we're going to go into a lot of employee categories is what we're going to go into here. We'll call it the employee package. So we're going to cover multiple topics relative to employees. Okay.